All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to all my subscribers and welcome to everybody around the world. This will just be a short video. I don't need to embellish anything. I'll just relay what I saw in the dream. It was a relatively short sequence in the dream. Just had it last night, and without a doubt, this is, as far as I can remember off the top of my head, this is the only time in a dream where I've seen an alien and an extraterrestrial, although it was piloting the craft. Nonetheless, I'll explain it. It's the only time I've seen an alien in a dream, and it's the only time I've seen like being outside of a UFO in a dream where I like detailed saw the UFO that the being was piloting, like real close, like super up close. Like it was within, I don't know, 10, 20 feet, 30 feet from me, something like that. And it started following me. So um, here I am. I'm just going to testify about the dream. Never had a dream like this before. I've had a few UFO dreams, couple dreams where I've been inside of a UFO or what seems like a big spaceship. But this dream here, I've never had one like this. So I was in some other place. I'm pretty sure it wasn't even my own country, some other country. It was dark. It was nighttime. There was a little bit of calamity outside, but I don't want to get into was it the end days or anything like that there. Nothing really stood out to me that it was like the apocalypse, but there was calamity going on outside. There was a little degree of destruction that had occurred outside, which you might see from like a big storm, maybe. So it may not have been end days apocalypse scenario. Um, so a lot of people are outside of their houses and walking around in this big like field, you could say. And it was dark. It was nighttime. So all these people on the grass around me, lots of people I didn't know. One person from my family was there, and oh, that just reminded me something very bizarre, actually. So I'll mention that at the end. It's got to do with horses. So what happened is all of a sudden there was this spherical UFO. I can't remember if I saw it descending or what, but there was a spherical UFO like parked, like on the ground. And it was very bizarre because I didn't know if the craft was supposed to be invisible or if the being piloting the craft was like, oh, forget it. I don't care what they think. I'm just going to do all this right in front of them, and I don't care if they see me. I don't know what the deal was, but what I saw was a spherical UFO. It was probably between 5 to 10 feet across, probably not even 10, big enough to seat one person, roughly human size, and, you know, spherical shape around the person. So not very big, between 5 to 10 feet, maybe 8 feet across. It was a goldeny type color, but the weird thing is I can't say it was made out of metal. It was almost like it was made out of like crystal or something because it was quite transparent. It was almost virtually transparent. And I say that because looking at, and it had this weird shimmery type look to it as well. But inside the UFO, you could plain as day see an alien, an extraterrestrial. I from the distance, and because it was still inside the craft, even though it was mostly transparent, can't say 100% for sure if it was a gray, but it vaguely looked like a gray. It didn't look like something wildly different. Um, Either human size or a bit more petite than standard human size, sitting in some type of little control chair, and you could vaguely see, they're like a control panel type thing around him or her, whatever it was. But I could see the being in full. I could see, the contrast where its eyes were, the darkness of its eyes, and I could just see it sitting there piloting the craft. And it was like parked on the ground or just hovering off the ground, one of the two. And it was like watching people. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, this is very bizarre. Why is this thing right here in the middle of a group of people? As it was almost acting like it didn't think people could see it. I don't know what to say. Um, Very bizarre. People weren't like going crazy, afraid of the UFO. It was a very bizarre like situation. So, anyways, when I saw the UFO, it wasn't that far from me. So I got a light that I had. And the scary thing is, in real life, I do this. I communicate with lights at UFOs, and they communicate back, and all of that. But anyways, in my dream, I shined a light at it. Now, that proved to probably not be a good decision because whilst it didn't attack me, the UFO just levitated up and started levitating towards me and was like following me around. I wasn't like deathly afraid, but I remember feeling panicked and confused, and I didn't know the intentions of this thing. But it was just a very bizarre scenario where I could see the whole craft because it was small. I could see it up close. It was following me. I could see the being piloting the craft within the craft the whole time because the whole craft was virtually entirely transparent. Um, Very bizarre in a golden hue, like I said. I've never I've never had a dream like this. I don't know what to make of it. It's very interesting food for thought. You know, if I had UFO dreams all the time, I wouldn't think too much of it. But I've never had a UFO dream where I see the UFO like in entirety in front of me, and especially up close, like at all, ever. And I've never had a dream where that I remember, that I can actually say that I saw an alien. Now, whilst it was still inside the craft, because the craft was so transparent, I saw the alien still. But it's very interesting. So in retrospect, I wonder what on earth, I'm supposed to, you know, what I'm supposed to think about this. I don't think I was abducted because that was just a couple hours before I woke up. I woke up a lot of times last night, and that was in the last phase where I fell asleep. So I highly doubt, and my other family members were awake at that point. So I highly doubt I got abducted while I was right there and everybody else was around. That's improbable. But I try to think, why was I shown this? Why did I see this? Was it a glimpse of something that might happen in the future? Or was it that it's trying to show me a message that, hey, when you flash your lights at us, this is one of the beings that you're flashing your lights at? I do have the UFO photos I took years ago where I went outside to take pictures of UFOs, and they did manifest for the photos, and one of the UFO types was spherical, but it was silver. But I mean, maybe a silver UFO could turn golden color and turn transparent for all we know. But maybe it was one of the beings that have been friendly with me and communicated with light in the past. Maybe. And maybe it was showing me, hey, this is what we look like. This is what our craft looked like. And we're just here observing you. Because that's all really this thing was doing. It wasn't attacking people. And the people almost didn't seem fazed by it. I wasn't even sure, and I can't remember enough clarity from the dream right now to say that other people did see it. Like I can't remember what people were saying and their reaction to it. I just know that generally it was like people were oblivious to it. So I wonder if that was the purpose of the dream. Maybe they were letting me know, hey, this is us. We're just watching this and that there. And when you communicate with us, it like establishing a little friendly communication. I don't know. Um, if it's the end days, I mean, it could theoretically be part of the end days apocalypse scenario when the fallen angels come out. I can't say this was a good or a bad being. I have no reason to say either or. It's just completely neutral as far as I could tell. But very, very interesting experience. I'm actually happy that I had that dream. I thank God for it because I've lived a long time now and I've not gotten to see an alien and a UFO like that in a dream before. Or even in real life, like up close like that. So it was pretty cool. It was absolutely lifelike dream, felt completely real. Now, the one thing I want to mention right at the end here is that my one family member who was there, I went to go find them, because I knew they were with me whatever the place was. I knew that they were there. So I went and found them. I couldn't find them for a little bit, but when I found them, they were oddly in a horse stable. This family member, likes horses, likes animals in general, but, has not really been around horses and all of that there. But for whatever reason, I got the impression that my family member, maybe they saw the UFO or whatever destruction type thing was happening outside at the time in general. Maybe they were worried for the horses and, came here to check on these horses that they noticed were here in this little stable. It wasn't a massive stable. It probably had like that could hold half a dozen to a dozen horses, but so vividly and vivid. I remember and I saw that when I walked, and it was wooden. I walked up the plank, the walkway planks, and I saw the row of stable entries. Like where they have those bottom half doors and the top half is open type thing. And I was looking in at the horses, and I saw all of the horses in vivid detail. They all had different types of colors, modeling, natural looking. But there was one horse that stood out different. It was like standing up. Some of the others kind of were standing. A lot were laying down. Between 6 and 12 horses, like I said, and they're all in like this one. It didn't seem to have partitions on the inside. This one big stall. So this one horse that was standing up, one of the few that was standing up, had very strange coloring. It was a black and red horse, and it almost had like, it looked so natural too. It didn't look wacky and out there. It was like you had a black horse, but it had almost like red tiger stripes, but it didn't look like tiger stripes like you would get on a cat, something like that there, but more rough and natural, kind of like what you might see on a horse. Now, I know zebras have stripes, but the zebra stripes and tiger stripes are very clarified and defined, and they have that like a pattern, a highly recognizable pattern. This horse here was just like, it wasn't like a striped horse like a zebra, but it had stripes. So they weren't super clarified, super defined stripes in a set pattern, but it had stripes over its body. The hair of the stripes was blood red. I was looking at it up close, and the hair of the horse kind of looked a little disheveled, like it was sweaty. It didn't look finely groomed and all this. It was like a little disheveled. And I saw that in vivid detail looking at this horse, like, wow, I've never seen a horse with that coloration before. That's what I was thinking in the dream. Still see the image too of those, like blood red stripe, not stripes, but whatever you call it, stripes. So, and the horses weren't like panicking and stuff, but they didn't look all super comfortable. So, anyways, that was the strange thing that I wanted to mention at the end. Now, could this be, I'm not saying it is, but could that have been some coded allusion to the four horsemen arriving? That's what I thought about after I woke up, and I was thinking about it for a while. Maybe this was just a hint. Maybe one of the watchers came to let me know, hey, we're watching and something's going to start happening. And maybe that was like one of the four horsemen in code, one of the four horsemen in it stole and it was getting ready to come out. Maybe. One of the four horses are red, there's black, and then there's the other ones, right? Depending on your Bible version, they're called different things, right? But there's red and a black horse. They're separate. This horse that I saw was black with red stripes. So it was black and red. The other horses in there were, different colorations, but like normal standard colorations, but they were all different. It's not like they were all white. It's not like I saw a white, a brown, a black, a red. I didn't see that. It was just like regular mixed assortment of horses, and then bam, this red and black stripe one. So I don't know what to make of it. It's a very peculiar thing, a very peculiar aspect. So this makes me wonder, is this some type of allusion to the four horsemen? Now, it could very well be that that horse that was standing up was black with red, and it could very well have been that the other horse colors were all represented in that stall, and I just didn't think of it when I was there in the dream, visually looking at all the horses quickly, right? My attention, I could still see in my mind, my memory now, like the tops of the horses that were laying down. Some of them had like brown and white patches, kind of like some cows do. And remember scanning my eyes over from left to right across the stall room. And when it came towards the right, that's where the black and red one was standing up, and a couple others might have been standing up. So it's entirely possible that maybe, we had a black one with red stripes, but black, and maybe there was a red horse, maybe there was a white horse, probably was in the stall. They're all different colors, and probably was a mottled or whatever it is. So yeah, if the true definition of, death in Hades is a pale and a mottled horse, then yeah, there were pale and mottled horses in there. The one I saw was black, albeit with red stripes. Was there definitely a reddish horse in there, which is more like a chestnut brownish red? Very well could have been. I just can't say 100% for sure. But what did stand out and strike me and vividly was that black with red horse. So make of it what you will. I definitely can't say it's 100% a sign about the four horsemen, but there was darkness outside. There was some form of disaster or destruction going on outside. It wasn't like to an epic extent, though. Kind of like to the extent you'll get in a big storm or tornado, hurricane, typhoon, that type of thing, maybe. I'm just saying in terms of magnitude of damage and destruction. No recollection in the dream of monsters running around, aliens running around, giants, nothing like that. It was just people outside At the time, I didn't know why we were all out here. There's a bit of calamity, like I said, going on outside, but that's all I knew. Usually in my end days dreams, it's very clear that it's the apocalypse, that, there's fallen angels, giants, monsters, whatnot running around. Is always very apparent. In this dream, there wasn't. The only thing that was abnormal was the alien flying in that sphere UFO, observing people, right? Very strange. But anyways, that's the dream. Just sharing with people. If you have any ideas what you think it might mean, what it might be, or if you've seen similar, let me know. Exactly. Yep. They're called watchers for a reason. So it never attacked me. It never made me feel threatened. It spooked me out when it started floating and following me, but never did anything bad to anybody. It was just watching people. And maybe I was the only one there who could see it. Maybe that's why the other people weren't freaking out. Or it could be that maybe it was a good being, some of the good watchers. Maybe there were a few of them and they were gathering the people together for the rapture. You know what I mean? Just maybe he came down to quickly monitor the scope of the field, this and that there. And then, the fancy looking angels will come down. I don't know. It could be any scenario. But it's one heck of a strange dream. So, anyways, take care, folks. God bless. See you all later.